Hey Nick, obviously Jaylen had a lot of success against LSU last year, kind of his coming out party. I'm curious about how have you seen him kind of approach this week? How have you, I guess, the 2 weeks kind of build up to such an important game, like kind of on his end?
I think his approach has been just daily improvement. Being where your feet are. I think that's the message for everybody in the building is to just be where your feet are and focus on being the best you can be each and every day in practice and preparation. And then that's how you best prepare yourself to go play well on Saturday. So I don't think his approach has changed, in that regard. And I think it's been steady throughout the season. Just his consistency and his routine and his preparation. I think that gives you the best chance to play well, in the game and have the most confidence headed into the game when, you lean back on your routines, your preparation, your training. And so I haven't seen that change based on the opponent, throughout this season, not just this week, but in previous weeks as well.
All the way in the back on the right.
Hey, Coach, just with one of the biggest games of the year coming up this weekend, what's the advantages of having this bye where it's situated right now going into this week?
Well, I think it gives you an opportunity to maybe heal up a little bit. I think, the advantages are the same for both teams, obviously. So anytime you have a little bit of a time, to reflect, you can get healthy. You can identify things that you need to work on. You maybe get a hair bit more time, just a preparation for the opponent. But they're on the same schedule that we're on. And so, ultimately it'll be whoever used the time the best, prepared the best. And we're still right in the middle of that. These next few days certainly are important. The practices, the preparation, the finalizing of the plan from the staff. And so that'll really be the focus here the next few days. And so obviously, use the time to try to, help individuals get better, help your unit get better, help your team get better. And we're still, have preparation to be had here the next few days.
Tony, second row on the left.
They rank top 10 in sacks. Just what have you seen from their pass rush, and how do you kind of combat that, without giving away too much of your game plan?
Yeah, I mean, certainly they're very disruptive. I think that jumps off the film. The production of the front seven players, both the edges, linebackers, interior players, they have had a lot of success that way. And I think the way that you try to, counter that is similar no matter who you're going against, is to try to stay out of those situations that are pretty obvious passing situations where they really can pin their ears back and rush. And so being efficient and effective on first and second down will be important. Staying out of third and long situations will be important. I think that's the case anytime you're playing a very disruptive front. Is to stay in situations that make you unpredictable as far as run and pass and what you're trying to accomplish. And so, making sure that we're balanced and staying out of some of those situations where, it's friendly for good pass rushers. I think that'll be important for us.
Got a question from Nick on the right.
Yeah, last open week, you guys then went into the Georgia game and had a really strong start. What do you want to replicate in terms of how guys are preparing and in terms of how they approach just starting the game?
Well, we always want to start fast. I think that's really important, particularly when you're on the road. I think that is helpful. There's no doubt about it. I don't think anything that occurred in the past relative to previous bye weeks or previous games will have any impact on this one. But I would say, the importance of starting fast in a game is certainly important. Like I said, particularly when you're on the road and you're dealing with the crowd and those types of things, to be able to get off to a good start, I think is always beneficial, but certainly when you're on the road.
Katie, front left.
You kind of just answered what I was going to ask a little bit about playing on the road. Y'all played well on the road first game against Wisconsin, but not as well the last two games. Just kind of maybe what worked well in that Wisconsin game and maybe what have been some of the struggles on the road that y'all are kind of hoping to move past this week?
Well, I think, pretty simply, we just played better. We executed better. We did a better job as coaches. And so certainly that's a point of emphasis, to execute and play cleaner. I think that you talk about some of the personnel that they have, some of the schemes that they have. When you can execute and do your job a little bit more consistently, sometimes you keep them out of those situations where the advantage goes to the defense. And so when you look at those opportunities we've had on the road, we need to play better. And I think that comes down to simple execution. I think making sure as a staff we're putting them in a position to play fast and play confident. Because you are dealing with other factors in the game, crowd noise, et cetera. So making sure that we keep it simple enough so our guys can execute and do their job. I think that'll be important.
Back to the right side, Charlie.
Yeah, hey, Coach, you just mentioned crowd noise. What did you maybe learn from that Tennessee game that can help you guys going into the road game at Baton Rouge?
Yeah, that we need to be better. I think that's what, was evident. We obviously didn't start the game off the right way relative to the noise and the communication. We've continued to work on that, as a group, as a staff, to make sure that, what we're asking them to do in those moments, that they can execute it at a high level. And so I thought there were moments in the game the last time we were in an environment like this where we were fine, we settled in and were able to communicate, but certainly we didn't start the game off the way that we would like. And so, I think the message was to learn and grow from those experiences so that you can do better the next time you get in those environments and atmospheres.
Do you have any other questions for Coach Sheridan?
Okay, roll tide.